I'm a failure. It's the truth, but you know what they say, the truth hurts sometimes. But with that, there's also another truth that's not so bad. Yeah, I'm a failure, but not at life or in general, and neither are you. You and me, we will never be failures at life because you can't fail at life. It's impossible. Life is never over until you take your last breath. But I am a failure at being this perfect, smart kid. I failed at being a good student. I failed at being the immigrant parent's dream child. I failed at succeeding on the first try over and over and over and over again. I failed at being normal. But yet I'm not a failure, despite all of that. I'm not a very emotional guy that even cries or tears up, but looking at my past is probably the only thing that can make me tear up nowadays, just because I look at how far I've come. Despite all the failure, I came out on the other side better. You know, all the quitting, all the negativity, all the lack of self-esteem, lack of self-love, lack of success, all the suicidal thoughts and attempts. Life told me I was worthless, but I was still fucking here, baby. And that's all thanks to God. Praise to the Most High. Failure is always present and always has been, you know, since middle school. Whether it be actual failure or just the thought of it. Which always led and still leads to worry and anxiety. I think it's always a thing with everybody. You know, I can't speak for women. Maybe I'll have the exact same struggle with failure that men do. You know, worrying about failure. Maybe more, maybe less struggle. But for men and young boys, accomplishments and having skills gives a lot of us a sense of purpose. You know, if we're not good at something or we don't have accomplishments or a lot of times we don't even realize that we have accomplishments. But we just feel shitty and we feel like failures. Accomplishments, I feel like, gotta be physical for us. It's gotta be a thing we can point to or something we hold in our hand or something you can see. We tend to ignore the subtle accomplishments that aren't always in your face. Like for me, if I don't have any physical accomplishments, but I used to be a fat, obtuse fuck. So there's an accomplishment, I guess, that you can see. I just gotta show you old photos compared to what I look like now. But most of the things that I've accomplished have been mentally. My mind is much more positive than negative now, which it used to be about like 90% negative a couple years ago. I'm more disciplined. I'm better at removing bullshit from my life that I just don't need. You know, just less tolerant of it. I'm more of a doer rather than a talker. I used to complain constantly to myself about shit, and now if there's something I complain about, I'll complain about it once, and then I'll do what needs to be done to get changed. And if I see that I'm not really doing anything about it, that means I don't really give a shit about it then. I love myself now. I have great self-esteem. No longer have serious suicidal thoughts. And these little victories add up. And one day, I know they'll eventually add up to a huge accomplishment and a huge victory. Failure for men, I feel, is the most important thing in a man's life. Or one of the most important things. You know, we all want to avoid it. It's our biggest burden and our biggest anchor holding us down. And at the same time, it can also be our biggest motivator. Because we don't want to be failures. But yeah, man, the fear of failure. I think most of us make our main purpose to not be a failure. You know, whether that be in our careers. Some of us as fathers. I don't have that yet. But a lot of what I do is to build myself up to be a great man for the day. For when the day comes that I become a father. And also for when the day comes that I become a husband. Because that is something I definitely see in my future. So a lot of what I'm doing now is building myself up to be the man for the job. Like me personally, in my caveman mind, ain't nothing worse than ending life feeling like a failure. So pay attention to those accomplishments, the small accomplishments, but don't celebrate. Just give yourself a pat on the back and keep going. Failure is a fake thing that's created and is subjective, just like success is. Everyone has a different idea of failure and success. People could think you're a failure because they had expectations of you that they created in their own mind. This calls back to my disappointment and expectations video. Meet your own expectations. Ignore others. As long as you do that, ain't no way you could be a failure. Do the things that you love and become the person that you want to be. Then your days and your life, they won't feel wasted. Like it was just all a failure. It will feel like it was all worth it in the end. Alright, let me shut the fuck up so I can get the sound quality. Cancel out the excess noise, my boy. Alright, we're good. Alright, bro. Let's go.